We are impulses of intelligence in a larger universe of intelligence. This is a thinking universe. We are impulses of intelligence in a larger void of intelligence that have learned how to create physical matter. We create the mind. We are not the mind. We create the mind. We create the body. And through our body and our mind, we ultimately create the experience of the world. By itself, the world is just quantum soup. It's a radically ambiguous, ceaselessly flowing field of all possibilities. And out of that field of all possibilities, we can create anything we want. We're like King Midas. Only he knew only how to create gold. Everything he touched turned into gold. We can create anything we want.
Greater level of choice.
Infinite choice.
Yes. Tell me, what is the body?
If you went to a physicist, a really first-class physicist, and asked her, what's the real...
Asked her, I like that, very good.
Asked her, what's the real nature of the physical body? She might say, if you could look at it, not through the artifact of sensory experience, then you'd see, which is, the superstition that what I can see and touch and taste and smell is the way things only are. That's wrong. After all, my senses tell me that the earth is flat, and nobody believes that anymore. The senses tell us that the ground we're standing on is stationary, and we know it's spinning at dizzying speeds.
Or the light we see in the sky at night is still there when it may be gone millions of years ago.
Exactly.
Yes.
So forget the superstition of materialism and begin to see things as they really are. Well, the physicist would tell you that the body is a dynamic field of energy, information, and intelligence that's constantly renewing itself in every second of its existence. That you, in fact, make a new body once a year. That even this moment you have 1 million atoms in your body that were once in the body of Christ, or Buddha, or Genghis Khan, or Leonardo da Vinci, or Saddam Hussein for that matter. That your physical body is a river of intelligence and information. 98% of all the atoms come and go in less than 1 year. You make a new skin once a month, a new skeleton every 3 months, a new stomach lining every 5 days. Even the brain cells that you think with as carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen, they weren't there 1 year ago. And the DNA, the genetic material, which holds millions of years of information, the actual raw material, the carbon and hydrogen and oxygen, comes and goes like migratory birds every 6 weeks.
So let me ask you a question. Somebody has cancer, and the first thing that the average person does, obviously, is immediately respond with horror, with fear. They immediately are told by their doctor they have so much time to live, or they have so much percentage of chance of living. They now think to themselves, I have this thing in my body I've got to get rid of. What you're saying is that thing in their body they call tumor is not going to be the same tumor a year from now. Is that true?
It's true. If I look at an X-ray and see a tumor and I compare it with the tumor from 6 months ago, am I really looking at the same tumor? The answer is, on the material level, no. Every single atom of carbon, of hydrogen, of oxygen, of nitrogen that makes up this tumor is not the same, is different from the tumor 6 months ago because of the rapid changeover.
Right.
However, because the underlying quantum mechanical framework is the same, in other words, the cellular memory is the same, or the underlying physiological processes at a non-material level are the same, it keeps coming back the same way. It's like if I had the ability to change every brick in this building once a year, but I'm stuck with the notion this is the only way to do it, I'd get the same looking building every time. If I want to get rid of this tumor, I have to exorcise the ghost of this tumor, and by the ghost of this tumor, I mean the impulses of information, energy, transformation, memory, conditioned response, all the things that structure the non-physical aspects of the tumor that result in this physical expression. It's estimated, for example, that we have 60,000 thoughts a day. That's not surprising. The disconcerting thing is that most people, 95% of the thoughts they have today are the ones they had yesterday. So we become bundles of conditioned reflexes and responses constantly being triggered by people and circumstance into very predictable biochemical outcomes, behavioral outcomes, and ultimately physical outcomes. So the body turns over 6 billion cells a day. 1% of these are mutations. So everybody's body has cancer cells all the time.
That's right.
But we get rid of them every day.
The problem is, though, if we keep putting the same cause in motion, the same thought cause, the same belief cause, the same expectation cause, then we're going to keep getting the same results because we're going to take the material and we're going to translate it accordingly. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. The recipe remains the same. You can take the same ingredients, have another recipe, and you'll have something else.
Because we're funneling it in identical ways.
Exactly.
So until we change, it sounds complex, but what we're really saying is until we change our basic core fundamental beliefs, our sense of certainty about what is and what will be, then whatever we're certain about will be in our lives. As we think, so we'll experience.
Exactly. In fact, Tony, what it is it's an interpretation of what's happening to you. If I go out on a joyride on Magic Mountain in Disney World, and my interpretation is at a deep level, somewhere, I believe, as you said, in the deepest part, this is fun. Then my body makes interleukins and interferons. These are powerful anti-cancer drugs.
That's right.
If you had to buy interleukin to treat melanoma or kidney cancer, a full destruction of the immune system and stimulation of the immune system, a difference which could mean the crucial difference between life and death, is an interpretation. I take an experience and I say, this is a very tranquil experience. I'm having the experience of tranquility at a deep level of awareness. My body, my leukocytes, my adrenal cells, my macrophages will start churning out Valium. This Valium, unlike the one that you buy from Hoffmann La Roche, is the real diazepam. It is the molecule of tranquility. And it modifies and modulates the activity of the immune system so that cells can do their job in tranquility. The meaning that you give to an event is the event. Is the event.
What I call it is the label you put upon experience becomes experience.
Exactly, because there is no such thing as actual reality. There is only the perception of reality.
That's correct.
See, and that perception of it is an interpretation that the self makes to the self.
Now, how do we create balance? First of all, what creates imbalances in each three?
Stress. Ultimately, it's all stress.
So what are some of the elements of stress?
The elements of stress are basically how you interact with your environment, with people and situations and circumstances and things.
Emotional stress, physical stress from lack of sleep, stress from eating improperly.
Right. In fact, take two or three things. How you behave, how you think, how and what you eat. Period.
Okay, that's good.
How you behave influences your biological rhythms, which means life is a function of cycles of rest and activity. So deep rest is the basis of dynamic activity, and dynamic activity is the basis of deep rest. If you've had a really good dynamic active day, you're going to have a wonderful sleep at night. On the other hand,
as long as you give yourself enough time to do it.
You have to give yourself enough time to do it. It's like children. Look at children. They're totally self-referral. They're totally in the present. And when they fall to sleep, they're gone. That's what blissful sleep is. And just like that, deep rest is the basis of dynamic activity. If you have a hangover, you're not going to be able to do anything effective. So you need both. And nature functions in these cycles of rest and activity. So watch the signals of comfort and discomfort as they come from your body. These are your inner cues. In its infinite intelligence has made it very simple. There are only two signals. One's a signal of comfort, one is the signal of discomfort. The signal of or we say joy and suffering. These are the only two signals, and you tune into these signals that your body is giving out and amplify the signals of comfort and get away from the signals of discomfort. You have what is called spontaneous right action, which means the right action comes to you in every second of your existence. It's the right response to every situation as it occurs. There's a computing system out there which is far more precise, far more accurate, far more reliable than any contained in the realm of rational thought. You just have to tune in. Tune into the signals, and you have the right behavior, the right eating habits. Of course, there are guidelines, and those guidelines are something for you to corroborate your own inner experiences. There's no animal in the forest who has the vaguest idea what the U.S. Surgeon General has recommended as the minimal requirement of calcium.
That's probably why he doesn't have loss of bone and he doesn't have cancer in the wild.
Osteoporosis,
anyway.
Exactly. Inner cues.
Just notice what works.
Just notice what works. Listen to the inner cues, and the body's inner intelligence is the ultimate and supreme genius. It mirrors the wisdom of the universe. It'll tell you exactly what to do. Most people don't take time to listen.
Get quiet and listen.